I tried to find where the market closed and I ended up not giving accurate information. You give me a sense of where the market closed today.
Well, week-on-week basis, the market was down, but at least we saw some sort of undercurrent, perhaps you could say support coming through. We hope next week will be again resuming the rally. So you're right, we were through the market, there was a downward trend and it was basically consolidation.
Yeah, now you calling it consolidation, some people are calling it profit taking. Then the question that comes is, if people are taking profits, they must be putting that money elsewhere. And what are they reading into the current gains that we've seen so far on the market?
Well, there are various issues. Like number one, people could be putting the money aside for participation in the Kenya Airways rights issue. I think it's a good opportunity, so that's one thing they could be eyeing. Interest rates are still good, so they could be looking at fixed income as well. And as interest rates come down, you know, they could be taking, they could be making capital gains on that as well. And of course, the other stocks that are also, you know, underpriced right now, so they're probably taking positions in those as well. Because if you look at volumes and participation and turnover, you will see that has been coming up for a while now, back to what we call normal levels. So that is probably where the money is going as well.
Yeah, so there is a bit of money that's coming into the market. And one of the counters where that money went to today is Kenya Airways, up 6%. I'm scratching my head and wondering, what's the market saying here about Kenya Airways? Because this is a stock that's been under pressure, in fact, down 18% since the announcement of that rights issue.
Yeah, Kenyan Market is a bit peculiar in that regard. The idea is to, I mean, every time a rights issue is announced, and if especially there's quite a huge volume coming in, there's obviously fear of dilution, and that fear probably doesn't have a bottom until the rights issue price is announced. And once that is announced, it's used as some sort of benchmark.
Right.
So as it trended towards 15, it started getting support, and everybody who wants to participate. And by the way, KQ has been one of the performers in terms of earnings in this market. So that's one place they were looking into. I mean, once they understood where the rights issue price was, then they started taking positions appropriately.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct the fact that, in fact, I was right. The market was down 7 points, 0.2% down on the day. But when you look at KQ and where it's going and the kind of plans they've announced around expansions of their routes across Africa, would you be recommending that investors buy the stock for the rights issue?
Yes, I would, because one thing that KQ has that other counters don't have, other airlines don't have, is that the operational environment in Africa is pretty good for them. A lot of unexplored routes. Nairobi being a hub, being one of the favored hubs by investors who want to get into the region and into Africa. One of the places they favor is Nairobi. So KQ has an advantage there. The margins are good within Africa. The machinery they're using, especially, I like the idea that they've got Embraers for regional routes, and for the long haul they use the Boeings, which helps them optimize their money and their assets rather, and basically, you know, probably you could argue their margins are better than most airlines will be, and hence the reason why they've always been making profits for the longest time.
Yeah, let's look at two other stocks that you've been looking at quickly: Diamond Trust Bank as well as Pan Africa. What are you seeing in terms of those stocks and the outlook going forward? Should investors perhaps be positioning themselves?
I think Pan Africa and Diamond Trust, especially Diamond Trust, I think it's really undervalued. If you look at the multiples compared to its peers, I think there's still some headroom for growth with Diamond Trust. Pan Africa, good dividend yield. I think that the dividend came in at 2 shillings a share, and this was off what many would call a challenging year. So if we had a good year where asset prices were generally trending upwards, especially in the stock market, we probably think they'll be doing better. So there's also again scope for growth in Pan-Africa. Both of them I think are good stocks.
Yeah, so let's look forward to next week. So we have the market under pressure this week, and we spoke about some of the reasons why the market was under pressure. When you look to next week, what are you seeing? Are you expecting a bounce here for the Kenyan market, particularly also given some of the issues that we know have been in that market, the attempts by parliamentarians to try and cap interest rates and so forth?
Well, I think for us the issue is our main competitor will be the interest rates coming in from T-bills and T-rates, in the sense of what options for investors. So as long as the interest rates in the T-bill rates and the T-bond rates continue trending downwards, we will probably continue seeing a general long-term trend of upward trend with the equities market. So we are optimistic next year. Some of the stocks that were said rallying back this year, this week, will continue rallying next week and hopefully drive up the equities market.